Okay, I have 9 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, agenda review. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Mr. Chair, there are no changes this morning.
I'll move the agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Commissioners' reports on committees. Drew, do you want to start?
Sure.
Looks like you've got
I
a
will
good
do
report.
what the chair wishes.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Our last board meeting was Tuesday,
Gonna
April
go throughout
22nd.
the whole meeting then, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
real slow. 22nd of April was the last time we were here at this board. And then afterwards, we had our Nicollet County joint meeting with the commissioners and administration at the Country Inn and Suites, and we do that, I think, twice a year. That was a good meeting to hear what they're doing and the projects they're working on. And on Friday, the 25th, I attended the Crew Campus Ministry Fellowship Dinner with our Commissioner Mark over here. We sat together. It was kind of fun with our wives. Monday, the 28th, I attended the Workers' Memorial Day Luncheon, which is hosted by the Mankato Building Trades Council and the Southeast Labor Council of the AFL-CIO at Pub 500. And there was a good turnout there. I guess they do it every year.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a moment of silence and they read the names of a lot of people who have died that were part of their organization in the line of work. And then Monday the 28th, also that evening at Dawn, my wife and I, it was a potluck type of event, so we went to the Sewer River Watershed Network event in Eagle Lake, bumped into Will Purvis there, and later on bumped into Kip, and good presentation by Craig Super. He's our local DNR fisheries person over there by Waterville, I believe, is where they have their headquarters. So he gave a real good update on all the lakes and things that are going on in our area.
Was there much winter fish kill, did you say?
There's, actually, when you look at the numbers, there was some fish kill, but it was very low as far as, even in Madison Lake, there was, I don't know, they figure maybe a couple hundred fish.
Yeah.
That's nothing, compared to what is in that lake, so, but there was some. Yeah, there was some. Oxygen starts getting lower, but then of course we had our work session on April 29th, and all of us were present, went to Pub 500. Wednesday, April 30th, I attended the Twin Valley Council Scouting Values Luncheon, and that was at the WOW Zone. And they have that every year. This year,
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I missed that, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. And I can't. What's the top scout? What do you
Eagle.
Eagle, yeah.
So they had an Eagle Scout, and it was Rodrigo Mandrigal, 18-year-old, and he got up and testified on how it's affected his life and all the positive things it's done for him. And Tim Adams, a local businessman, also talked about how important it is for our community to keep scouting going in our community. And then they had a special recognition of Joe Bailey, and she's been in our community for many years doing volunteer work and giving support to our community, so they gave her a special recognition. May 1st, on Thursday, I attended the South Central TZD, or Towards Zero Death Steering Committee, at the MnDOT district offices, and just wanted to remind everybody, there's still time to register. They'd like to find out pretty soon if people would like to go to the TZD workshop. It's going to be held up here at Minnesota State University Mankato, and a lot of times it's out of town, so it'll be a good opportunity for local folks. And I'd really encourage people to go to that Towards Zero Death workshop. Thursday, May 1st, I attended the retirement gathering recognizing our police officer, Matt Westermeyer. I can't remember how many years, do you guys know?
27.
27 plus? Yeah.
27.
Good man, and a lot of people turned out for that. It was really nice. May 2nd, Friday, County Highway Safety Luncheon. We were all there. Had a good talk with a lot of retirees.
Yeah, you were, no, I didn't make it.
Kip didn't make it, okay. But there was a lot of retirees there.
Was there?
I kind of sat at the retiree table, I
Did
think.
We were on the engineers of that.
Yeah, it was good, it was good. And then Friday also I participated in the United Way Supporting Individuals and Families Impact Team Review. And Jessie Byer, she's been involved for several years with United Way and did a really good job of helping to gel our reviews and work together. I don't know what your title's called there, but a coordinator or volunteer. Yeah, but she has a position to help coordinate things. And then Elizabeth Harstead was the United Way staff person for this impact team. And then all of us, I know for sure about that one now. We're at the open house last night for the possible turn back of State Highway 66 at the County Highway Building. And just like Commissioner Strumberg was saying here earlier, we had an excellent turnout, approximately 100 people, and about 8 county staff and all the commissioners. County Engineer Al Forsberg did a great job explaining the planning processes, and many local residents asked questions, shared ideas, and gave us feedback, and I think it was really a worthwhile time. So,
Very good.
yeah, that's my report.
Yeah, thank you, Drew.
Yeah.
Vance?
After the board meeting, again, like Jude stated, we had a joint meeting with the Nicollet County Board. That was, that's always enjoyable. On April 24th and 25th, I attended an AMC Sunset training, which is a summit to undo sexual exploitation and trafficking in Minnesota. It had to do with the Safe Harbor kickoff. The Safe Harbor law was passed back in 2011. It starts in August of this year. It basically states that if a child or someone under the age of 18 is arrested for prostitution, there is no criminal offense. It's considered a victim. And then that child can be taken care of as a victim instead of a suspect. So it gave the counties 3 years to get ready for it. I'm not sure if we're ready for it or not, Ross, but we, you know, that's something that is coming up this year.
Do you ever make an arrest in a juvenile prostitution case in your career?
No.
I mean, I think, not that it, you know, can maybe happens here, but I don't remember us ever getting
I don't ever remember that happening either.
As far as being ready, we follow the laws.
Yeah, yeah, but it's the thing is, if something like that happens, you can't, you couldn't send them to the New Ulm Detention Center, that type of thing. You'd have to have another place. You obviously have to take care of that child.
You treat him as a CHIPS child instead of as a delinquent
Correct.
case.
Correct. Thank you, Ross. April 28th, I had a Habitat for Humanity board meeting, and then later on that afternoon, I had my diversity board meeting. On April 29th, we had our work session. That evening, we had a CASA 1 open house that was up at the shop. And we had our Citizens Academy that evening also at the Justice Center with the County Attorney's Office and the courts. Had a nice talk with Judge Walker. May 1st, myself and Will attended the National Day of Prayer, which was also at the Justice Center. That was nice. That was very nice.
Very nice.
And then that afternoon, I attended the Westermeyer's retirement coffee also at the Law Enforcement Center. I guess it's not the Law Enforcement Center anymore. It's
No.
The LEC.
Yeah, Public Safety.
Public
Building.
Safety Office,
yeah.
yes. Old things are hard to die though, you know. May 2nd, myself and Will had the community farm meeting and discussing how our community farm is going to be operating this year. There's some issues that have come up, but I think we're working on them well. And then we had the annual safety luncheon that quite a few of us showed up at. And then last evening attended the Highway 66 turnback open house, or possible turnback I should say. So, and that was nice. Got to greet a lot of people and listen to their concerns over Highway 66. And there's a lot of emotion coming into there. So I think it was very nice that we had that open house. I think you know, I think we still are gonna be listening to different ideas that are coming from that. But thank you.
Okay, good. Mark?
Saw you on TV.
Okay,
Was I on
after,
Yeah? You didn't know you were on TV? Sorry, I just said I saw him on TV for the.
he's a celeb, you don't have to.
Oh, yeah, I knew I was.
Nobody
on
has to
TV.
worry here, we've all been on TV. April 22nd, we had after the Nicollet joint meeting, as everybody else. The 24th of April, had our Partners for Affordable Housing Board meeting, and moving along, we're looking at the city offered, we're looking at a small $25,000 feasibility study for partners to look at a building for housing our offices plus all our
Heard about that.
people that would normally be at Welcome Inn and Teresa House would be in a facility. Well, we're looking at, it's Marion Hall up at the
Yeah.
Sisters in Ordeem.
Wonderful.
Kind of like here, we'd get it for like $1. Of course, then there's maybe $1 million, $2 million, whatever has to be done to it, but you know, it's a good thing. So, and that's the grant will help. Then we had our work. Let's see. We had the county one. We did the same thing, Vance. I think in KIP. The county one hearing, and then we had our Citizens Academy, and what else do we have? Same thing. Work session on the 29th, and I caught Matt Westmeyer at the end of the event. And then I had a retreat for Partners Affordable Housing on Friday afternoon and Saturday morning. That was useful as part of like strategic planning for the board. And then concluded last night, which was I think a very worthwhile event. Something that was good that we did it that way.
Yep.
Where we had the concepts and then had people's feedback, and nothing was set in stone before the open house, so it's good. So,
Very good, yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Yep.
Well, after the last board meeting, the Nicollet County Lunch was mentioned, which I think it's always a pleasure to get together with those folks from the other counties, and I think we should try to do that more with some of our other surrounding counties. I know we always
Yeah.
talk about that, but it's very difficult to do, but I think it's just very beneficial to us.
We've done it once a year, and we was Wasika.
Yeah,
We've done it once with Wasika, and that
Just
was
once.
it.
We gotta do that.
Should try that again.
Keep
So
that
anyways,
going.
that was good. Several ditch things going on. Will and I and some staff met and talked about our viewers situation. We got some options, some different processes we're gonna try. So I don't know if they'll work, but we're gonna try to basically take Ron off of the head viewer and try to appoint someone that's local, so we could try to get these projects done
Oh, I see.
faster. But then Ron would still oversee the whole project, so bring some people up through the ranks, and we'll have some people that are willing to step up to the plate. And we have two good viewers now, so I think we can maybe move some of these process forward, because it's just gonna get worse as we move forward, so. Then I had a hearing or a public informational hearing for County Ditch 63, which will be on the agenda today for redetermination of benefits, because it's only got $47,000 of the benefits on it. It's gonna cost about $50,000 to do just the minimum repair, so we can't even do that at this point. Then some other miscellaneous things going on with ditches. The work session was mentioned. I thought we had great discussion about the building up at the Ponderosa and the court, adding the court, and the library discussion. County Ditch 1 open house, I just stopped in briefly, didn't even get to see the presentation. Looked like they had a good turnout. Things are going well there. Made it up to Citizens Academy to listen to Ross's operation, the courts, and then Josh was there and talked about probation. And, everyone did a great job with that, and Jesse does a great job with that. The Citizens Academy, I've been to several of them, but this group really seems engaged. They ask a lot of really good questions, and they were had a lot of fun with Josh, but in the probation department. So then after that, yesterday I had my RCEF meeting. Things are going really well. They talked a little bit about the program they had last week with the Greater Mankato Growth and the entrepreneur program they had going on last week. Things are moving along pretty smooth there. Got a lot of things going on. MRCI meeting yesterday afternoon. lots of stuff going on in MRCI. We're still struggling a little bit with the candy business and trying to get some stuff dealt with, but we do have a lot of business. We're making some sales. Brian's asked for me to the county board is if you would be interested in coming up someday and having lunch. Have a box lunch at the office up there, and then you take us for a tour of the shop up there, and if we got time, we could go over to the new building. So
That's a great
if that, if
That'd be a
that's
great
okay with
idea.
you guys,
Do that
I'll,
even after,
I'll ask Jesse
Do that
to,
after the
after a
board meeting.
board meeting sometime.
yeah, that's what I told him. So I
Or a
think
work
is what
session.
I'll have Jesse call Brian's secretary and just tell them what dates we have, and then maybe just
Yeah.
one of these after our board meeting. That way they can pick. So
You could tie it into a work session too.
or work session, yeah,
Yeah,
anytime.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
Either way.
there'll probably be more conflict on their end because we always go for lunch after our meetings. But they want Brian wants to be there, the CFO and the COO want to be there. So all three of them are going to have to try to coordinate their meeting.
Great
So
idea.
if that's okay with you, I will
Yeah.
get that set up and we'll try to get up there. That has been working out really well. You know, everybody works so hard nowadays trying to promote, advertise through the internet and, you know, all these other fancy ideas. Brian started this program about 6-8 months ago, maybe a year ago, and it's just a box lunch. And is what he does is he invites different organizations, the hospital, Avantis went up there and came and had lunch with them, and they just show them around. And it has just blossomed into so much stuff. They're getting so much work for the consumers up there that they never thought they would get that relationship going with those people. And so, you know, just back to the basics, you know, the one-on-one and talking to people about what you do. You know, you can do all the advertising you want, but this, they said it costs about $80 to $100 to buy the lunch for everybody. And it's just, they're really happy because they got into the hospital and the clinic up there. And then we're working, we're gonna be renting the old Rollco building to move our St. Peter operation to that old Rollco building out in 22. And we struck up a box lunch with them, and they gave us a deal on that space that is just phenomenal. But they know what MRCI does, and they just want to help out. It's just amazing how you see something so basic. Just get back to the basics and have face-to-faces with people. Works out really well. And then the open house last night was mentioned, and I thought it went really well. I got several comments from people that said they were really happy that we had the meeting before the final decision or before we turned it into the state. So I think that step we took, I think, was very beneficial to us. Some people still think it's a done deal, and the road that was laying there and all that was a done deal, and I tried to explain to them, no, they've already made the decision. I said, well, you're talking to one of the decision makers right now, and we haven't made the decision, I'm telling you that. I think after we got done discussing it and talking to them, they were convinced that we still hadn't made that decision. So I appreciate the staff. They did a great job fielding questions and answered and got a lot of stuff done. So brings me up to date, Mr. Chair.
Good, thank you.
Sounds
Well,
good.
most of the stuff that I was at has already been mentioned, just a couple other things. On the 22nd, I attended the Citizens Academy at the library, and also the Minneopa Park Open House on the discussion of bringing buffalo into the park. So both those were good things. Several community garden meetings, as Vance pointed out, and we're working through some things there that I think will ultimately turn out good. I had the Blue Earth County Library Board meeting on the 1st of May, and that evening I went to New Ulm and saw Tippi Hedren. Does anybody know who Tippi Hedren is? Tippi Hedren is a actress who grew up on a farm between Lafayette and New Ulm, and she starred in Alfred Hitchcock's movie The Birds. And as part of the Storytellers series through the TDS Library Cooperative, we brought her back to New Ulm for an event, and she talked about her life and growing up in New Ulm, and about 400 people were there to greet her, and it was a free event because of the legacy funding.
Nice.
So, and that brings us up to today. So,
Any other movies?
yeah, she had a couple. She starred in like 80 different movies. Of course, the Alfred Hitchcock ones were the most famous. She's now 84 years old, but had a very vibrant life, and it all started in Brown County.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So, okay, Lisa, I think you're up next.
Hi, Lisa.
Morning, Lisa.
have a couple items. We have some audit cleanup items where I need approval of the operating transfers and our revenue and expenditure budgets. Do you have any questions on any of those? Did you find them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wondered if you could walk us through them a little bit, because I really don't understand it, you know, it's a lot of big dollars, and I don't know, like the first grouping that says general, human services, public works, building capital.
The first one, the operating transfers,
Mm-hmm.
if there's money going in between two different funds, we actually do those as transfers. Part of it would be from the general fund. If there is another program that we need to pay interest to, we would do that with a transfer. Or if we receive a grant, but we buy a capital item out of the building and capital fund, we would need to transfer that grant from one of those funds into the capital fund, so it kind of matches up. So, and then other programs too, like with the landfill, we charge them for some of our work that we do in some of the other funds. So that's what the transfers are.
So like on the ditches, it says 4,530 went in.
That would
Zero
probably
was
be,
transferred out.
that would be that interest income. If when we bond for ditches and we have excess money in there, we need to pay them interest on that amount that's sitting in there. So that would be from the general fund, we transferred 4530 into the ditch fund, into those ditch programs.
Okay, so it's
that
held
have,
in the general fund.
right, all interest is required to be held in the general fund. And if there's state statute that says that you need to pay something interest, like those ditch bonds that we
Okay.
have, and that extra money in those funds.
Then Public Works had 442,000 and zero out. So that must have came from, I'm just curious.
Yeah, there's, and I didn't bring the whole list with me of all the individual items.
Yeah. Just even a scenario would be helpful, you know, that, how that would work, where there's zero funds, but then they get 442. I mean, I'm just curious if it's like a scenario, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could show you that detail if you wanna see it, or I could get you more detail
Yeah.
on that. The Public Works, part of that is we have special assessments on some road projects,
Okay.
and that tax money comes into the general fund.
So it goes into the general fund.
And we save it there till the end of the year, and then we close out that program, and then
Yep.
that program goes into Public Works.
Oh, I see.
To use that money.
So the zero could be there because we didn't get funds in from another source. We didn't transfer it from another source.
Well, because it's receipted into the general fund, and then at the end of the year, when we know that we've receipted everything in, we transfer it to Public Works. So then
Okay.
they're getting that money. That's what the Public Works one is.
Okay. That's helpful, you know, just to kind of understand where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's big dollars.
It's transferring it out of the general fund into these different accounts.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Yep.
year. Is that something you do on a monthly basis then too, or is these just all kind of?
Some of them, if they're budgeted, it could be a program that goes from one program to another. If it's budgeted, we'll do it at the beginning of the year.
Okay,
Some of them are monthly, and then some of them are at the end of the year.
cause
So-
these are big numbers, but.
No, I know.
But
It could be
if
millions. I mean, it could be
yeah,
millions.
Right,
It
'cause
ends
there's
up as
money
millions.
transferred in and out of the funds all the time.
Yep.
You guys do that all year long.
And actually, this detail was in your budget. These transfers are, part of your budget.
Oh, okay.
So when you look at your budget, you can kind of see what these transfers are. Some of them could have changed a little bit. And that's why we, pretty much put, here's what the final amounts are in case there have been changes to those.
Then Bob sees these too, Bob, do you see these, any of them as they occur, or do you just have to
Well,
ask for it?
when I review the financial statements, I see that activity, and as Lisa's mentioned, that's part of the budgeting process for a lot of these items.
I just wondered what other eyes are seeing them, that's all, I mean, kinda curious.
What department heads, I would imagine, are watching these transfers and
Correct.
figuring out where's my money.
When, yeah.
It's coming, it's coming, it's coming.
The cash flow.
They'll call if they're not done, no.
Is that right?
Some of them have, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, they expect it, and it starts with the budget process. So it's just, funds in between departments, we treat as transfers.
I would move the operating transfers for 2013.
Second it.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Operating transfers are approved.
I would move the revenue budget adjustments for 2013.
Okay? Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And the expenditure budget adjustments for
I'll
2013?
move those if you want, like.
Okay?
Second 'em.
Okay, discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They're approved. Okay.
The next item I have is our management letter. This letter continues to get longer and longer every year.
I couldn't believe it.
I think they've covered everything possible, and if they haven't, they'll put it in here the next year. But this really protects the auditors. They
Yeah.
want us to know that everything is ultimately our responsibility, you know, from the estimates to, non-compliance, you know, the financial reports, the grants. So, it's quite a lengthy list. And, the very last sheet were some uncorrected financial misstatements. These come with, we give the auditors our financial information and all our work papers around the middle of March. They come in probably about a month later. So we've cut off some of our payables, we've cut off some of the revenue coming in. Well, when they come in a month later, they can look at, maybe there's some payables that we didn't pick up, or some revenue that came in after our cutoff. And so then that's what they put on this list.
That's the attachment, you mean, or?
Yes, yes. So these are things that they said, well, technically these should be on your report. But even though it's $1 million, they really consider it immaterial. They have like a materiality limit, and they're looking at the county as a whole. So then we don't have to go back and do these adjustments, or else the audit would probably never end, because we could constantly, you know, leave that open and find more and more items that we would need to change. So that's what the last sheet is, and it's referred to in the letter.
Is it two pieces of business or not? Is it accepting the attachment and then the letter, or is it?
It's all one.
It's all one?
It's all one thing.
Okay.
So is there?
Move to approve?
Second?
Okay, discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks a lot, Lisa.
Okay, Craig, looks like you're
Uh-oh.
up.
Morning.
Good morning.
Craig?
Okay, I guess, first thing on the list, we have set a hearing date for County Ditch 2 and 94 hearings for the redetermination of benefits. This is for, the landowners requested, this is part of a repair to have the new redetermination of benefits before the actual repair was completed. And we're requesting that they have the hearing date is 9:30 a.m. During the June 10th Blue Earth County Board of Commissioners meeting.
Okay,
So move.
Second.
okay, discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Okay.
Okay. Next one, probably have to be a separate motion here, is the, we have a petition for repair on Drainage Ditch 50. We need to formally appoint the engineer. The engineer's already been doing the work already, because they wanted a preliminary report, so a lot of the work's already been done, but we need to formally appoint the engineer at this time. And that's, so I've asked the board to appoint Chuck Brandel of INS Group as the engineer for the County Ditch 50 repair
So moved.
petition.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
I did.
Vance.
Thank you, Vance.
Okay, any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That happens once in a while, doesn't it, Craig, where it's in the interest of time, so it doesn't damage their,
It almost, on large repair projects, we almost always have an engineer do some preliminary work.
Oh.
Just when you're doing something that big, is, you know, we have the engineer appointed to kind of give the landowners kind of an option. In case of County Ditch 50 here, we had two different informational meetings to look at, okay, do you guys want to do a repair? Do you want to do an improvement?
yeah.
First one, they said, let's do a repair, but then it was what scope on the repair, so we had a lot of engineering beforehand. And that's pretty typical of most big ditch projects.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay. Now we have the redetermination on benefits on County Ditch 63. We'd like to appoint viewers. This is a case where the landowners, we had an informational meeting, the landowners, the benefits listing is from 1921. The project is supposed to be between $50,000 and $60,000, and the total benefits is like $47,000. So legally, we can't even do a big repair on this ditch without doing a redetermination of benefits. It'd be when it's done, it'll be some closer to 1.5 million or somewhere around in there. So yeah, it's definitely needs redetermination of benefits, and landowners requested it also. So I would have the board make a motion to appoint Bill Anderson, Lance Roberts, Tom Mahoney, and then Ron Rehnquist as a consultant alternative. This is a little different that we've done in the past. We're trying to, get one of those three to step forward as a lead viewer, but have Ron still act as a consultant. It looks a little different than our past projects.
okay,
I would move, yeah, okay, I'll second.
okay, any discussion?
That was kind of what I was reporting on
Yeah.
this morning with
Yeah.
our viewers, and we had the meeting on this a week ago Monday, and there's 22 landowners, only 3 or 4 showed up, but we had a good discussion, and then Craig and Casey were gonna send a letter summarizing our meeting and let everybody
Yeah.
else know what's going on, but this was consensus. And thank you, Casey, for getting those lists to those landowners that were there that night. They appreciated that.
And
Okay.
hopefully we're gonna see some positive outcomes too from that training that's been going on at that college, you know, and get some more viewers, because how many ditches do we have that probably haven't been viewed, and let's say if they're older than 25 years or something, or 30 years?
How many if we would be
If we're-
needing redeterminations
Yeah.
over the next few years? We could
60?
easily do, 70 of them?
70 of them.
Out of the
I mean, that's-
110?
It's gonna take how many years? I mean, if
Yeah.
we had,
Yeah.
even if we had 6, 7 sets of people working on them, it's gonna take, I don't know, 10
Well,
years?
if we can get at least one, other counties that they had one set of viewers who worked 10, 15 years. So it took them 10, 15 years to get them
Wow.
all done. In fact, I think Martin County's working almost 20 years here now,
Wow.
so.
Yep. Okay, we need to vote on that, don't we?
Yep.
Yeah, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay. Next, I have several repair reports. Most of them are,
We're gonna put these all in one vote?
Yeah.
that's what you've done in the past, yeah. I don't know if you want me to
Nope,
go
that
through it
works.
all.
That's fine.
That works.
Yeah, we can go through them quick and then we'll vote on them.
Okay. County 17's just, that's an old tile, it's terrible shape. Landowners are looking at doing something major down the line, but we still have to patch it until then. Pretty straightforward, broken tile. Paul Sellers, that's another, you can see from the picture, is actually a cracked tile, broken tile there, and caused the intake to kind of blow out near an intake, which is not uncommon. They tend to be the weak points in the systems. 83, that is an interesting, most interesting one. This actually was caused by an ice dam. The ice dam blocked the water, went into the field, went into the landowner's field, and then went back into the ditch system at this point, and so it blew out.
Oh my
Something
gosh.
a little unusual. It's not the first time it's happened since I've been here, but I think this is probably the 3rd time in 15 years I've seen something like this, so.
Wow.
Hmm. Power of water.
Yes. JD 48, we had a landowner who's concerned about some cattails and stuff, and it went up the line, and yep, we found a definite blockage where where we had a slough in the side that needs to be repaired. Pull that out, and I think we do some minor cleaning in that area where stuff is backed up behind the blockage, and we might be just fine. We don't know for sure. I have, kind of in the yellow area. Depends on what, we start cleaning, and that area might empty out, and we might not need to do anything with that. But if we do, we wanted the option to continue on with additional repairs, cleaning. And that's it for the repair reports.
Okay, I have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the ditch repairs.
So, second.
Okay, any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They're approved. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Thank you, Casey.
Yeah, thanks, Casey.
Okay, shall we do some administrative stuff?
Yes, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, the first item up would be the county board minutes for April 22nd of this year.
I'll move the approval. Okay, I'll second
All
it.
together?
Van second.
Together
Okay.
now.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. The bills.
I'll move the bills.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Just had a couple questions. I was just curious what the Martin McAllister Incorporated doctor's fees, is that?
Those are our psychological assessments that we're doing on some of our hires, primarily in the sheriff's department.
Oh, okay. Right. That was new. I had never seen that before. I was just wondering.
It's relatively new. We've been doing it for probably a year for a
Oh.
number of positions, but
Oh, okay.
Is that out of the
And then just out of
yes.
noticing it's one of the larger bills on there, but MnDOT, construction other, 708,000.
That's the county's share of the
Roundabout.
22 Madison
I was wondering,
roundabout.
I figured it'd
Yep.
be about that price. And then I was curious on this Wilder Research, contracted services for 9,630.
Is that in the first week?
Yeah, pretty sure that is.
Yeah.
Again, is it the first
Yep,
week?
first
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Page 18.
That's part of the statewide health improvement grant that we are administering here locally, and so
Oh,
we've
okay.
hired Wilder to help us pull groups together to begin discussion about how we implement the SHIP grant.
Oh, okay, sort of a coordinating
Yes.
process. Then one more, was the service master, it says there's an insurance deductible for $39,000, and I just didn't know what that was.
That's part of the cleanup of the Mapleton Highway Shop as a result of that fire.
Oh, wow, okay. I was just curious, okay. Yeah, but there was a lot of cleanup there. I don't have any.
Okay, any other questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, I have number 3 in your packet is the Human Resources Department agenda. We just have informational items this morning. We have a resignation of a probation officer, and so we've begun recruitment to refill that position. We have a social worker in the Human Services Department that has completed 6 months of employment and is due for a salary adjustment. And then we've recruited and hired a care coordinator in the Public Health Wayward Service Program area.
Okay, all informational, we don't need any action on that.
Next item, number 4 in your packet, is the appointment of Board of Appeal and Equalization members, Mr. Mike Johnson and Ms. Kathy Theolgis. Terms on the County Board of Appeal and Equalization expire this year prior to the Board of Equalization, and so both individuals have expressed a desire to serve another term on the board, and so we're recommending Mr. Johnson and Ms. Theolgis be reappointed for 3-year terms expiring then in 2017.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Just, Bob and I had a good interaction on the internet, talking about something we talked about a year ago.
Yeah.
that someday maybe, you know, trying to find a business person, somebody that owns their own business or small business, or it could be a farmer.
Sure.
Ag,
Sure.
someday on that, just to kind of balance it out a little bit maybe.
Yeah. No, and we,
Yep.
yeah. it's
Good
been-
thought.
Yep, good you talked about it, and yeah, it'd be good, and that would be, especially if a small business might be hard to get, you know, someone that.
To do it, you mean?
Do it, yeah, just the time I suppose involved, but yeah, it would be,
They do a good job. I've listened to them twice.
Yep.
You know, they go quite a long time sometimes, those meetings, and
They have a lot of expertise, and so
Yeah.
they've worked well with staff, but certainly
do a good
for the
job.
board
I think,
desires.
I think that's kind of the main thing, is trying to find somebody that understands what they're talking about. As long as we have somebody that, wants to be reappointed, and they got the expertise of being there, you sure gotta appreciate that. I mean, they're giving their time for the county.
yeah, they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm teasing.
Okay, any other discussion? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Should we take a short break before Al comes?
It looks like he's,
Of course, the agenda.
it looks like
the
he's got
agen-
about everything
So
there
he's
is.
got everything listed on there.
Well, good morning, ladies and
Morning,
gentlemen.
Morning.
Beautiful day out there.
Good morning.
A
Little
beautiful
windy.
day yesterday, and last night, a beautiful day yesterday, last night.
Yes, it was. It was a very, very interesting day. I've got some interesting materials I just passed around. Here's a dollar bill from Olmsted County that gives an approximation of what things cost in 2012. I guess it could be updated, but why things are so expensive these days.
They're passing those on at, Micah one day.
Probably the same one. And then you've heard me refer to the agricultural production of Blue Earth County. So here's some sheets from the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, which shows just how large and how important agriculture is to Blue Earth County. That's where the $550 million per year in production that I used last night came from, for instance. But it's very interesting, I think. And if you'd like, why I could pass it on to Jesse and email it to you folks for your information.
Yeah, that would be good. That's more than just pork, more than just pigs.
Yes, yes, it is. The Madison Lake Association does an annual cleanup at Bray Park. So here's a photo of that group with some garbage they picked up as a volunteer group this spring. Then, business.
Okay.
We opened bids Friday for several projects. I had emailed out a summary of the bid totals last week. The abstracts are coming around. The abstract is broken down by projects. There's paving the County 12 bituminous trail. When 12 was built, we didn't pave the trail because it didn't go anyplace. So why not let it settle a year on the big fields that it sits on? There's some bituminous overlay, County Road 120, a short road over by the co-op office. County Road 168 down in the southeast corner of the county. County Road 117 between Mankato and Eagle Lake, north-south road. There's Williams Park overlay on the parking lot, which really needs it. And then finally County 18 in the south-central part of the county. We received bids from Yulin Brothers out of Albert Lee, the first time they bid on one of our projects, and Southern Minnesota Construction Company. Both bids were considerably over our engineer's estimate. The low bid, $1,309,710. I've talked to some of the contractors afterwards why the price has risen significantly this year, and they're saying it's largely the asphalt prices. So I think these are competitive bids. We're in a rising price market here. You know, with the construction recession, we had several years of declining and then stable prices, and now they're coming back up again. Our estimates are based on the prices that we received earlier. I don't think we'd gain anything by re-advertising. We'd lose some of the construction season and possibly get higher prices. So I recommend that we award this. We'll just have to adjust our future estimates to a rising market, I guess.
And so typically, you put them, you bunch them all up like this for one bid, then instead of taking bids on each project or each road?
Yes.
That's what we've been doing historically?
Yes, and we actually keep track of how many tons goes out on each project. We pay by the tons that are laid, not by a lump sum item.
Oh.
Then, some of this is eligible for county state aid highway money, like the County 18 project. The others aren't. One is on the park system, so by breaking them into projects, we can keep track of those costs and assign it to the proper source of funding.
Okay.
Okay. Have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve these.
So, second.
Any discussion?
It appears that, even if you would break them down.
Yeah, they're pretty much all come out.
On each case, the Yulin brothers
Comes out lower.
were lower. So, I guess so we would, even if we broke them down into numerous little pieces, we'd still be bidding the same thing, so.
So, okay,
How much did we budget, Al? The 1 million?
Yes.
So how do we deal with that?
We had a County 90 overlay that we were hoping to do this summer. That will have to be deferred a year.
So that was over and above the 1 million?
Yes.
The 90 overlay?
Yes, the 90 overlay, we budgeted quite a bit for in our 5-year plan.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have to defer that.
1 year.
Yes.
What's that project cost?
And we didn't have the whole 90 in it, but just very roughly,
Yeah.
to do from one end to the other, including the shoulders, is going to be pushing $2 million.
I was gonna say it'd be a big number.
Yeah.
So you just had some of that in there, so you're pulling that out and then
Yes.
put it back into these?
Yes.
How's 90 looking?
You know, 90's in relatively good shape, but you want to capture the strength that's there
Right.
before it deteriorates further. We have several roads in Mankato that the city has pointed out that badly need mill
Right.
overlay work.
Yeah, and that's the concern that we have to deal with, that we keep building new roads, but we gotta make sure we keep our old roads in good shape too.
Yep, same balance MnDOT is struggling with,
Yeah.
preserve and maintain as well
Yeah.
as expansion and safety projects.
okay, any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, and the County 26 project on the north side of Eagle Lake, approximately 1.5 to 2 miles long. Final grading, paving, final completion of that entire project from the airport road to the city of Madison Lake. We had 2 bids, one from Mathewitz Construction, one from Southern Minnesota Construction. Here again, all line items that we measure and pay unit prices for. If you flip to the last page,
Thank you.
low bid was Mathewitz Construction, $1,848,778.74. And percentage-wise, also over our estimate by about 15%. Here again, I don't think we would gain by re-advertising it. Talking to, a representative from SMC at the meeting last night, I asked him why were the bids high, and here again, he said because the asphalt prices are so high. So, you know, I suspect it's some combination of that and the rising market as we leave the recession and demand, and the contractors cut back their capabilities during the recession. So we're in an adjustment period here.
Okay, so this is the, just the segment that goes around the lake itself, then?
Yes.
That's it?
Yep.
Wow.
That was an expensive piece of road at the end of the day.
Yes, it was. It was. Incidentally, I'm meeting with Robert Collett, who's the Division of Ecological Services and Waters, the Regional Director from New Ulm, tomorrow. This may come up in our conversation. Why did this cost us this much? Was there a corresponding environmental benefit to it?
I'll make motion.
Okay,
Second?
any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I very much appreciate your patience as we worked with this project over the last few years to get it done. I'm very relieved and glad to have it done. I'm sure the public will, I know the citizens out there will be. We'll have a safe road from one end to the other that will serve us for decades to come.
I've got some concerns in Madison Lake that, I saw a report of big holes on the streets and stuff. They weren't shielded off and kids could have fallen in it.
In the city, Madison?
Right in the city. You know, being that we are part of that, you know, maybe you could have somebody take a look at what's going on there. That it's not really, it's more of a safety issue than anything else, and I'd hate to, you know.
Yeah. Who's working on that again?
Holtmeyer Construction.
Holtmeyer, yeah.
INS Engineering is assisting us with some of the engineering inspection services.
You know, some of the pictures I saw, you know, that just big, huge 10-foot holes and nothing surrounding them, and
It was in the Mankato Times. It's an online newspaper. It was an opinion piece. Joe Steck had it in there.
Could you forward
With
that
photographs.
to
They had the photographs and everything right there.
Could you forward that to me so I can see that? We've had, of course, a pre-construction meeting with the contractor, the city, and with the businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Tilges this morning. I don't understand what this is, Vance. It's a meeting calendar. Do I push a button?
hit a button.
Must have hit a button. Here you go. Here you go.
Okay, that's right out in front of the old fire hall, the insurance agent. Yeah, we'll check on that.
That's all I can ask, is just to have somebody check on it, you know.
Ryan is meeting with the contractor and the city folks this morning, actually, in a construction meeting. We have a regular meeting every week with the folks.
Yep.
So I'll check on that. This was one of the things we emphasized in a pre-construction meeting, that this is in a downtown, this is in a city. You have to be very concerned about the safety of the public.
Absolutely.
Children who are naturally attracted to things of this sort. I
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if something like this was out in the county somewhere where nobody's around, but we're right downtown, there's a lot of kids in that area.
Yep. We will pursue that. Thank you. Okay, we open bids for hauling maintenance gravel.
Did we vote on this?
Yeah, we voted.
voted,
on it.
okay.
Yeah.
Open bids for hauling maintenance gravel. Received bids from Max Johnson Trucking and R&E Enterprises. We bid so much per ton mile for hauling and so much per ton for loading the trucks. The county will use its motor grader and crew to spread, compact the gravel. We've had an earlier contract to buy the gravel and crush it. So, low bid was Max Johnson Trucking. They've done this work for us in the past. $156,750. I would recommend award to Max Johnson.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
I beat you, Mark.
Okay, if there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried.
Okay, the cycle of projects, we've moved forward with some. We're finishing off a couple of others here. The County 46 bridge at the South County line, just off from County 7 intersection, is complete. We've made agreement with the contractor and the final approval and final payment of $34,333.33. Very nice quality bridge. I would recommend final approval and payment.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That bridge, I'll always remember that is on our road tour. We were stopped in our van looking at that bridge, and this truck comes along with some equipment on it and had to move into the center to get across it. It was quite a coincidence. I didn't arrange that. I would never.
Sure. Stick with that.
Yeah.
It's my story and I'm sticking to it.
We completed a bridge for Decoria Township using state funds. A big box culvert, concrete box culvert. Very nice project. I would recommend final approval and payment of $3,210.94.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, some right-of-way items. I believe your packet had a map with it. The Rapidan Dam Park.
Mm-hmm.
There was a oversight in the description going back decades that we didn't discover until we were attempting to finalize an easement for fishing with the DNR. It took us many months to work through the legal descriptions and advice from attorneys, and then working with the local folks, the underlying landowners, to come to a conclusion here. There's a narrow, looking at the map here, a
We
narrow.
don't
I don't have.
We don't have
we
the
don't have
map.
the map, yeah.
We don't have that map.
We have just one map for,
Yeah, and that's not for this.
just, or 17 up there, so.
Okay, well, that might be an oversight on my part to include that in the packet, because it would have had to be scanned in and sent separately.
Yeah.
Okay, the deal there is that this is roughly Rapidan Park. There's a narrow strip, the blue is the river. There's a narrow strip between basically the top of the bank and the river, which it turns out was not acquired by the county when we bought the park. It was not acquired by Sweens when they bought it from the previous owner. And why that happened, I'm not sure. Possibly, you know, a lot of folks think that the state owns the riverbed and the bank of the river.
I guess you own it up to the middle of the river.
In some cases, the state does,
Yeah.
principally the Minnesota River. In other cases, the state does not own it. In this case, the state did not own it.
Right.
So, we want to acquire that narrow band from basically the top of the river down the bank and then out to the middle of the river.
Because if the river goes dry, it becomes land, doesn't it, basically?
Suppose it would. The fellow that is legally recorded as owning it has passed away. So, a dead person owns that green strip. But the people that he would have willed it to,
Right.
and he willed all the other land that he had to, we've met with them. There's 3 siblings, and they agreed to sell this to us for quite a reasonable amount. They see it as not being of any use to them. In fact, perhaps a liability to them, owning this narrow strip next to the park, between the park and the river. And so I think we have an agreeable solution to it. But it would require a resolution because it's the purchase of right-of-way.
I suppose they could make money off by controlling the canoe landing there and charging a fee to use it.
Yep, possibly, but, you know, the liability aspects of
No,
all
I
that
know.
public use on the
That's
private
right.
land is of more
Yeah.
concern to them.
I know, yeah.
And they're good people, cooperative.
Yeah.
They support having the park there and preserving it as parkland.
Yeah.
How much are you talking about roughly for the?
Well, we don't have a signed agreement at this
Signed
point
yet?
because we haven't had a resolution authorizing
So you
it.
have no,
But
okay.
it's a fairly reasonable amount.
Move to authorize.
Your chair is aware of the amount.
What do you need for a resolution? Just a motion to authorize, the pursuance of a resolution, or what?
Yes,
Yep,
the
ma'am.
resolution.
Purchase of.
It's in there.
It's right here.
Page 64 in the packet.
Yeah, whereas the dam park is important natural resource, blah, blah, blah.
County
And,
engineer is authorized to acquire this strip of land and to incorporate into Rapidan Dam Park.
I'll move the resolution.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved.
You know, it's interesting when you work with land, how many errors there are in descriptions.
Yeah.
Connecting. We've worked for several months also with these parties and the Lutheran Cemetery in Rapidan and our own right-of-way to straighten out some errors that were there. We had an earlier resolution to do that, got that accomplished, and so then this followed up on that work.
And I was over in Blooming Prairie on some other stuff, and, you know, it's funny, you can be almost anywhere in the state, and
You sure you wanna tell this story?
no, I won't tell the whole story.
Okay.
But, I mean, it came up there because one of the family members that's interested party in this property was telling me about it, and I kinda knew something about it, but I really didn't understand it, and they were pretty lighthearted about it, and friendly, and wanna
Yeah.
cooperate and try to help, you know, it's nice.
And we've only been describing and buying and selling land in this area since like 1850, 1860. If you go out, if you go out east, George Washington and those folks have been doing it for another couple hundred years.
Yeah,
And things are even much more difficult out there.
yeah.
Compounded by the surveying instruments becoming more and more accurate. And what was high accuracy surveys now being our everyday surveys, and then we
Yep.
find these problems.
And there's a name for those maps, I don't know what it is, but there's a map that shows the Minnesota River Valley is owned by the state of Minnesota, I believe. And then it comes up the Blue Earth River to the confluence of the LeSueur and Blue Earth, and that ends right there.
Yes.
I think that's it, pretty much.
I'm guessing that was the error here.
Yeah.
Okay. We had a open house for the County One project from Good Thunder to Trunk Highway 30 last week. Had good attendance. It went very well, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a preliminary plan that's in the process of being converted to a detailed plan. We'd like to build this project in 2015, replacing pipes, widening shoulders, and then 2016, the cold in place recycling, new pavement. So I would ask for a resolution to acquire that right of way for that project at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried.
And finally, another right-of-way resolution, County 17 and Eagle Lake. Was this map in your packet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
This is one we have.
good, got one of the two.
Yeah.
The right-of-way through Eagle Lake is quite wide, acquired by MnDOT over the years. However, their ownership was not simple fee title. It was a combination of dedicated right-of-way and various kinds of easements and a little fee title here and there. There is more right-of-way now that 17 has been constructed than we need for our street and sidewalk and trail, so it's excess right-of-way to us. The city has expressed an interest in getting whatever interest the county has in it, so that they could work with the underlying landowners and potentially developers and make some improvements in their city. We've been working with them for 3 or 4 years on this, really. We didn't want to make this kind of a release of the right-of-way until the project was done, to be sure we had enough for the storm sewer and all the appurtenances. Now we're at that point, and I would recommend that we can't deed this land to them because we don't have simple fee title clear ownership of it, but the resolution is written, says the county engineer is authorized to transfer any right-of-way interest that may have in the parcel shown on the attached map to the city of Eagle Lake. So with that, it would be the city's responsibility to dig deeper into it and get full title to it, and then redevelop, reuse that land. We would be basically getting out of their way.
I just had a question on parcel 3. You know, that's where the trail is right now. And is that an accurate depiction of it? Because it looks like then that the trail would be in parcel 3, but is it not?
No,
maybe?
it's not.
It's on this side, it's on the
Yes.
south side.
It's
Okay.
on the road side of the right-of-way line.
Okay.
Yep.
I would move that resolution.
Second. Discussion?
We don't need control of all that anymore, we might as well let it
Yep.
Yeah,
get developed
that'd be
into
good for the
something.
city.
Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried.
Okay, some information items. The Mapleton shop repair, approximately 200,000, covered essentially by insurance. Advertised June 6th, consider award I'm sorry, that's an error, open bids. It is advertised now, open bids
Mhm.
on June 6th, consider award on June 10th. We've asked the insurance company for a breakdown of what they will pay for and what they won't. We've made some enhancements in that fire sprinkler system would be installed. We'll probably have to pay for that. The conversion from overhead lighting, fluorescent, to LED lighting, the additional cost, which we will get paid back in more efficiency, are two of the primary items that they may not pay for. Other improvements are required to meet current code, electrical, heating, plumbing. Our argument strongly is that insurance should pay for that. So, the bulk of that 200,000 approximately will be paid by insurance, but not all of it. Well, I hope to have a breakdown when we come to the board with that. Our 2014 construction, as you know, 17 is moving along. Very nice article in the paper on the status yesterday. We're very optimistic that the Carver Road roundabout and the north 2 lanes to 12 will be finished when MnDOT needs it for a detour. Main Street Madison Lake is underway. Ceresco Township Bridge has started. County 26 Eagle Lake we just awarded. Maintenance overlays we awarded. County 14 Bridge, we're scheduled to open bids on June 6th on that project. The County Road 147 Bridge, I think if the Senate bonding bill for local bridges, 40 million minus 11 for Minneapolis, approximately 30 million, that should be enough to get 147 funded this year. We'll have to see how that turns out. Planning projects, we've talked about number 1. Number 66, I understand there was an open house last night, quite well attended. Thank you very much for attending the meeting.
Good job. You did a good job explaining it too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was interesting, and it's fun to see all the people turn out. The 66 open houses have been like community gatherings, because many of these people have lived together for their lives, if not generations.
A lot of people, yeah.
Didn't even know each other.
Yeah.
Some don't even know their neighbor. It's
Yeah.
But
interesting to see. Well, where do you live? Well, right across the street.
Yeah. And to see the different interests in the road, one thing's clear is that it's important to folks. You know, they use it, it's in their front yard, they care about it.
Yeah.
And so their feelings are quite strong with it, and we'll try to digest that and come to a good balance.
They seem to give some, good suggestions. I mean, there's a lot of,
Yes.
about the monument and so forth. It was, a good take.
And you know what we had there was a concept, so there would be something for folks to react to and to see approximately what would be needed, so we got good reaction to that concept and would be in a good position to proceed with more detail. I'd like to discuss it at a future workshop.
Was there,
Some of the options are, and then, the next decision would be, do I proceed with an agreement with MnDOT?
there was a lot of verbal interaction, I know. Was there very many people that turned in sheets? Did you look in that box? Or
Yeah, there was over 100 people there last night, and there were on the order of a dozen comment cards left.
There was only about.
And then additional comments written on the sheets.
Oh, there was some on there.
On the maps.
Could we have a summary of those, Al?
Yes. we
Especially
could-
the comment cards. I mean,
We could do
Yeah.
that. There's not that many, we could copy them and send them.
That'd be great.
If someone else to summarize them and email them to us, that'd be
Yep.
that'd be nice to read them.
Yeah, you see what they say. I mean, we heard pretty much from
I think
everybody.
so.
Yeah, you had a
Yep,
bunch would
yep.
say, but.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. It was, I was exhausted by the time I got home, but it was.
I'm sure you were.
There were several people, too, that I remember that were very adamant that this is a done deal and we're just playing games with them and, blah, blah, blah. That wasn't true at all. I mean, Kip even
Yeah.
was approached that way too, and I was too, and I said, no, we have not sent a final proposal to MnDOT or anybody, so,
Which was the main idea, that we wanted to do this
yeah.
before we made some sort of a agreement with the state.
Yep.
Somebody had mentioned that, the state's been prepared to do this for 2 years or something, and I'm going, well, that's interesting, because we're the ones that make the decision with the county, and we haven't made no decisions, so.
There's, as you deal with these projects, there are a couple of paradoxes. Folks want to know firsthand that this is being considered, but yet I need to talk to the county board, and then it's public information and it's in the media. But we did a proper path here, I think, and that it was discussed with the board, and then we had our open houses, taking feedback, and then we go back and consider a decision.
Yep.
Another paradox is the plan. If you don't have any plan at all,
Right.
they can't understand what you're proposing naturally. If you do have a plan, some of them are gonna say, well, you've already decided. So, it's always, and no matter how much you stress, this is preliminary, this is a concept design, they react as if it's set in stone, and it isn't at this point.
I was impressed how people were so willing to share their comments.
That's what
Yeah.
got me. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep, positive stuff.
that was good.
It was very good.
our other planning project, the County 12, Stage 5, we're working on the environmental review. We did submit the Tiger Grant through the website. We've got several small bridges we're advancing plans for. I've brought up a couple times that the sanitary sewer to Bray Park and Duck Lake Park will have assessments. We have the assessment, which is payable this year for Bray Park. Total assessment's about $105,000. The annual payment for 2014 is about $6,800. The interest rate they're charging is 4.9% per year. At a workshop, I'd like to discuss just how we handle that. We need to pay this year's assessment, but how do we want to handle it in the future? We could pay it off and not have to pay the interest and not have this hanging over us. It's going to be a fairly substantial amount. I would ask your consideration of a special budget amount to get that out. Duck Lake Park is going to be about $198,000 because it's sanitary sewer and water, and we'll have a little higher amounts for annual payments and payout for that too. So it's a financial question on how you want to handle that.
Sure.
Land Records has been very helpful in providing interest rates and payment schedules and things of that sort.
So you're gonna pay this year's assessment by May 15th?
We essentially have to, and even if we paid it all off this year, we'd still have that interest charge for this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's no advantage to paying it off right now.
Okay, good.
Very good.
Is that it?
Thank you very much.
Very good.
And I only went one item off my agenda here, Mr. Campbell.
Al, don't forget your dollar.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't fit it in my wallet, so I just had to give it back to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Al.
Thanks, Al. Thanks, Al.
Go out there and enjoy this beautiful day.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, shall we finish up our administrative items?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, item number 5 then in your packet is a proposed fee schedule for our Taxpayer Services Department for some GIS and property data. This is the information that was reviewed at a recent work session. Currently, Taxpayer Services receives multiple requests for our GIS and property information data each year. The requests are varied and it involves a lot of staff time in terms of trying to respond to those requests. So the impetus for this proposed fee schedule is really 3 things: an increase in the number of requests that we're receiving in taxpayer services. We have a desire to standardize our response to those requests, and then a 2013 law change requiring free sharing of data with government entities. The proposed fee schedule standardizes the request process that the county will provide to individuals requesting the data. We did incorporate into this proposed fee schedule a very significant reduction in the fee to nonprofits so that we can continue to partner with those organizations to help our community. So we're recommending final approval of this proposed fee schedule.
I so moved.
Second?
Okay. Any discussion?
The only thing I have to say is something that was brought up at the work session too, is that this doesn't forego or impact the normal information access that public have, that we're provide as a government entity. People can come in here as property owners and use the computer downstairs and ask the staff questions, and they can get, you know, they can see what their property lines are, they can find out the measurements and things like that, the things that they've always had access to. This is more for technical data for projects and things like that, that would be for engineers and for architects.
Appraisers.
Appraisers and attorneys.
A commercial aspect,
Commercial,
so to
yeah.
speak. But yes, you're absolutely right. Individual property owners can always come in and see their information free of charge. A lot of that's already available
Yep,
on the
online.
internet at our website, but our staff are absolutely willing to help people if they have questions on a specific property.
Yes, this is
Like
over and
always.
above.
Commercial.
Like
And
always.
and this makes it easier on the commercial end as far as the understanding and
Yeah.
what the packages you get, so. Looks
Because the
better.
taxpayers are already paying for a lot of the services that are available to them.
Okay, if there's nothing else, all in favor say aye.
All right.
Hey,
Opposed? It's carried.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, then item number 6 is a request from George and Paula Marty from Morgan Creek Vineyard. They have submitted the required paperwork to apply for an on-sale liquor license. This license would allow Morgan Creek Vineyard to sell beer in accordance with our farm winery ordinance. The Martys have been working with our Environmental Services Department on one relatively minor compliance issue with the septic system, and as soon as that's resolved, we would move forward with this liquor license. So we wanted to continue to move it forward while that compliance issue is being resolved.
I'll move the
Second.
proposal.
Okay, motion and second, is there any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. I believe that brings us to the end of our duties today.
That's
that everything?
correct. Say, could we, I know we can't have Al send these in the board packet, you know, so the reasoning for that, which
Yeah.
we can debate that all day long, but
Have it in your
instead of
mailbox.
having him make all these copies for us, would it be more efficient if he was to email them to us the morning of? And then we could review these on an email? I mean, look at all the paper he wasted here. If we look
I
at it
know.
for 1
Yeah.
minute, we throw it away and it's one-sided. I mean,
It's a good thought.
Certainly can
I
make
certainly
the-
would be comfortable with that.
I would
We can
too.
just
I
pull
would
up the
too.
email or doing a, you know,
He could bring a couple copies if there's somebody.
right, for the press and
somebody wants
I think he
some
needs
copy.
2, but this is
Yeah.
silly.
Yep, good thought.
I'll follow up on that.
Okay.
Trying to keep the paper business going.
Yeah.
You could even do that with your reports.
Just send them electronically.
Yeah, send him email.
Yeah,
Pull
you
them.
don't have to look at
That's
this
a good-
paper you're using.
That's a good thought
Using
too.
4 or 5 extra sheets of paper total.
It's only
But-
one of these.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's
But we probably
2 for the,
don't-
2 for the press and 1.
When you get to 2 pages then, Drew, then we're gonna ask you to, all right?
Yeah.
Keep it to a page.
Why don't you just make it for the press? Because
Jesse.
we listen to you anyway,
that's
so.
Yeah, that's a good
All
thought.
it's doing is going to waste for us.
All right.
Yep. Okay,
Ross, you want one?
do I have a motion to recess to the bank in
The
Lake
bank.
Crystal? New restaurant
I
over
read
there.
that and I'm like, what are we going to the bank for?
Yeah, what is it? I don't know,
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
It's a restaurant.
It's the old Wiggies. It's under,
Somebody's opened up something in there then.
yeah, it's under new management, new ownership.
Oh, I was wondering where we were going.
They still have Wiggies in Mankato though.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, they just discontinued their restaurant in Lake Crystal and someone else has opened it up as the bank. So, do I have a motion to recess?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Good, thank you everyone.